day, everyone. At about the age of 6, this young man had a very wonderful question on his mind. What was this question? And this question was something that was on the mind of probably every child at that age. And it was this. While my father would be driving the car, I would sit at the back seat and observe the sun. And I would look at the sun. I'm like, why is this sun following me? Why is this sun following us? I never got a response at that time, though. So one particular day, I was with this neighbor of ours. I remember this, I was barely 6. Then I asked him this same question. He used to go by the name Daddy 2. And I asked him, Daddy 2, why is it that the sun always follows us whenever we move? Then he bent down. Then he drew some circles, all right? Then he put another circle in the middle. I was trying to explain the whole idea of the solar system to me. At age 6, all I could remember was I saw circles. I didn't remember any other thing. All right, that was a very intelligent question, right? Right? Another story. One day, my elder brother is a medical doctor, and then Nigeria, there wasn't power supply at home that day, and then as a family, we just had to make ourselves happy, right? So we started talking, doing stuff, and then decided to ask a question, and he asked a simple question. He said, how many openings do you have to the human body? Then, being young, everybody started counting, maybe ear, maybe nose, funny things. But then, as a young boy, I don't know what came over me, but then I put my hand on his calf. Then I felt, okay, he has hair on his calf, all right. And I think for him to have hair on his calf, then there are openings, all right. I was really young, then I said on counting, one was like, yeah, Wado, that's my guy. And I was like, oh, I was so happy. I was like, oh, intelligent boy, you're going to become a medical doctor. Wow, oh yeah. But then let's fast forward to some years later. This same young guy got into primary 1 and couldn't read. Interesting. I couldn't read. So it was a shameful thing for me. During break time, I would leave my class, go to the headmaster's or headmistress's office. Then she would teach me. Jane was jumping. Jane was flying. Jane was doing all of that. And I did it, over some time. I think I could read. Then I learned how to read. Another event, there was this thing we used to do in my primary school called mental sum. So mental sum had 3 sections. There was A, there was B, there was C. A was the simple part where everybody could easily get a 9, an 8, a 7, that kind of thing. B was the moderate part, and C was the difficult part for the brainiacs. All right, so this guy that was the intelligent one that answered the question about how many openings you have to your body and all of that stuff would flunk all these tests. I can get maybe 3 in section A, I get 2 in B, and I get 0 in C. I was so bad. But then this intelligent guy did something. I photocopied the book and I took it to my mother at home. She solved all the questions, then I would just cram everything. And I get to class, mental sum, A, I just write 22, 23, 30 degrees, 40 degrees. In like 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, I'm done with my mental sum. Oh yeah, this guy is brilliant. So now, that brings me to ask this question. Who's Sabi Book? The only reason why I could become the star in that case was because I came across something, an idea called cramming. I learned how to cram. So then, please, media, who's Sabi Book? I did the 300 in JAMB. We just wrote JAMB. Some people got 300, while some beautiful people were getting 27, 98. All right, so who's Sabi Book? Is it the 300s? Oh well, who's Sabi Book? The first class gang? Or those tech guys that always type in, I'm in, back-end code, blah, 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 all of that stuff. Are they the intelligent guys? Or are they certain people who have a certain aptitude for language proficiency? They can speak 5 languages, 6, 3, 4, whatever. In my secondary school, I had this man who could speak was a Nigerian, 7 languages. Interesting. So who really Sabi Book? Please, next slide. So, what is intelligence? Is it a fixed trait? Like some people are closer to the ground and some people are closer to the gods? Is it the color of your eyes? Is it the shape of your head? Is it receding hairline? Is intelligence really a fixed trait? Okay, so right about now, I'm going to do a quick exercise. Now, I'm going to explain what we're going to do. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to ask you how intelligent you are. Feel free. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate yourself. How intelligent do you think you are? So I'm going to start from 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, how intelligent do you think you are? 10. I like that. See, sir, for raising up your hand for 10, I don't think I have anything to say that you need. You can just walk out like you're too good. So, that's one hand. On a scale of 1 to 10, how intelligent are you? A 9. Anybody? A 9? All right, thank you very much. You also don't need to hear anything I say. On a scale of 1 to 10, how intelligent are you? 8. Good. 7. Good. 6. Good. 5. 4. Let me just spare you let me not go to 3, 2, and 1. So now, because I asked you how intelligent you think you are, and you're giving me a number. That means you think intelligence can be measured and can be reduced to a number. That's amazing. You should have asked me. Thank you very much. You should have asked me, what do you mean by intelligent? All right. So what is intelligence? Is it meant for... So sorry, please go back. Thank you very much. So is it for certain types of people, like Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, Elon Musk, or one of all those other guys? Is intelligence expressed only in certain activities like mathematics, chemistry, physics, biology? Can intelligence be measured with a pen and paper test? All right, let me tell you this. Intelligence, for one, I'm not going to give a definition of intelligence. Why? Because I believe intelligence is so broad that if I give a definition, it's going to be so restrictive because I am limited. I'm a man. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what intelligence is not and what characterizes intelligence. Are we together? Are we together? All right. So for one, intelligence is distinct. Secondly, intelligence is diverse. Thirdly, intelligence is dynamic. Now, why is intelligence distinct? Intelligence is distinct because no two people are intelligent the same way. No two people are intelligent the same way. Intelligence cannot be measured and reduced to a number. Rather, intelligence can only be expressed in its various forms. Are we together? We are going somewhere. Are we together? All right. So for the very fact that intelligence is distinct, that means intelligence is diverse because we have about 7.9 billion people on the earth, approximately. So that means if no two people can be intelligent the same way, that means that they express their intelligence different ways. That means intelligence is diverse. Are we together? Now, this brings to the third point. Intelligence is dynamic. Intelligence is wonderfully interactive. Now, intelligence is wonderfully interactive in the sense that you can't separate how good you are with art with how good you are with math. Intelligence is wonderfully interactive. And we're going to show you something. Please, let's go to the next slide. I hope you're following. Now, this is something called the Hermann Brain Dominance Instrument. So those are some of us that are inclined towards the medical side or psychological side might know that the brain is divided into basically two hemispheres. There's the left hemisphere, there's the right hemisphere. Are we together? Now, but then furthermore, the brain can be divided into 4 different parts. So you have the left cerebral hemisphere and the right cerebral hemisphere. We have the left limbic hemisphere and the right limbic hemisphere. Now, the predominant view of what intelligence has come to be or has been reduced to is as a result of many people that are leaned towards the left hemisphere of their brain. Now, what's does that? So the cerebral right hemisphere, these are people that can take instructions. They can take instructions, take in information. I can do a lot of cramming. They can retain a lot of information. So the right limbic hemisphere guys are those guys that can do routine stuff. They can do routine tasks. Now, the right limbic hemisphere are those guys that they seek human meaning. You understand? They want to see, they try to do creative things. Then the right cerebral hemisphere guys are those guys who see the bigger picture, who want to put things together. Now, this is present in every human being. But for the most part, intelligence has been reduced to only your ability to connect with the left side of your brain. Are we together? But then, remember I said intelligence is dynamic. That means it's about the wonderful interaction between both the left and right cerebral hemisphere, the left and right limbic hemisphere. Now, let's go further. Thank you. Please. Oh, me. Okay, now, so I said something, Sabi Book. And I said, we often attribute Sabi Book to those people who can do well on paper and pen tests and all of that stuff. But really now, who's Sabi Book? How? What do I mean? Because you see, what we often refer to as intelligent is, for the most part, intellect. Now, what is intellect? Now, you see, when you have memory, when you take in information, when you accumulate information, intellect is what you can do without information. Are we together? So if I take away your memory and all the information you've taken in, what is left? Intellect relies on memory. So if I give you a test, if I give you a test, you take the test and you rely on information you've taken in before. But then the guy that invented the formula, the Isaac Newton that invented the formula, he had no prior knowledge in that sense before he came up with it. So that is natural intelligence. That's his natural element. So what is the idea? The idea is that many people feel they know Sabi Book because the predominant culture of intelligence is left-sided brain people. Then education has taken that stance so that they force feed you information that is more in line with taking in stuff, doing procedural stuff. Are we together? So now, remember I said something that everybody use Sabi Book. Now, what then is intelligence? I've given different characteristics, but the best way, the base point, after taking away intellect is this. Everybody has a natural aptitude. Are we together? And everybody has a passion. Now, remember I said intellect is based on prior knowledge. But now, how do you find your intelligence? Your intelligence is based on the meeting point between your natural aptitude and passion. Now, when I speak of passion, I don't speak of a feeling. It's not necessarily a feeling. Because I write, I speak a lot. I can write today, feel like writing, then tomorrow I don't feel like writing anymore. So I'm not speaking of an emotion. I'm speaking of the ability for you to do something you're good at, you face challenges, but then you can come back to it. Are we together? So that's passion. So what I want to draw your attention to is this. You Sabi Book, but then how do you find your element? Aptitude and passion. Are we together? Aptitude and passion. All right. So what is the key now to tap into your intellectual ability? We've separated, the intellectual ability from intelligence in itself. Intelligence is more of the innate form, the raw form. But intellect now comes to do with accumulating information. So the idea is that when you discover your natural aptitude, where it meets with your passion, you now have a pointer to the kind of knowledge you seek. Now, let me show you something. It's a quote I have. This is Timileyin 2020. The thinking you do, the way your mind works, the way it's wired, determines the knowledge you should get. The thinking you do, the way your mind is naturally wired to think, determines the knowledge you should get. An external person shouldn't determine the knowledge you should get because education in itself is personal. Are we together? So the thinking you should do, the thinking you do determines the knowledge you get. Now, to get to the place where you Sabi Book, now this speaks of where you can begin to draw from your natural intelligence to actively acquire knowledge and information that is in your elements so that it becomes easier for you to begin to reiterate those things. So for someone like Peniel, who came, recalling information that is related to art is a lot easier to him than someone like Einstein who deals with particle physics and all of that stuff. Are we together? Are we together? So the key to finding your intelligence is to discover where passion meets with aptitude. So the question you should be asking when I asked how intelligent you are should be, how are you intelligent? How does your mind work? How does your mind see connections? Then you go after the adequate knowledge that you need to tap into your intellectual ability, to be able to recall information and become a whole-brained person by going after information that your mind actively seeks. Thank you very much.